Changing state of matter, evaporation. Evaporation is a process during which a liquid is converted to a gaseous form. All matter is composed of much smaller particles, but the arrangement of these particles will vary quite a bit depending on the state of that matter. To better understand that idea, let's use water as an example. In solids, such as an ice cube, the particles are packed closely and tightly together. In liquids, such as water, the particles are spread a little bit further apart than they are in a solid. In gases, such as water vapor, the particles are very spread out with lots of space in between them. The particles also move fast, colliding with one another. The process of evaporation is the opposite of condensation. During condensation, a gas will change into a liquid because of a decrease in its temperature. Evaporation involves a heating or increasing of the temperature. Let's take a closer look at how water evaporates and becomes water vapor. Fill a beaker with water and carefully heat it over a burner. After a few minutes, you'll see tiny bubbles forming at the bottom of the beaker and then floating to the surface. Soon these bubbles will become much larger and the water will begin boiling vigorously. As it does, you should also be able to see a smoke-like water vapor rising above the water in the form of steam. We already know the molecules that make up a liquid are somewhat loosely packed. As they are heated, the increase in temperature will cause the molecules to gain energy and vibrate more, eventually spreading out so much that they become a gas. In this case, water vapor. In nature, water from the seas and oceans evaporates and becomes water vapor. As temperature drops, the water vapor in air will condense and form clouds which then fall as rain. Evaporation and condensation both play an important role in the water cycle in nature. On a hot sunny day, you are likely to sweat, particularly if you're working and exerting a lot of energy. As the sweat from your body evaporates, it will cool you. This becomes particularly noticeable if you're in front of a fan or there is a breeze in the air. Because evaporation absorbs heat energy in order to break apart the molecules, it is also referred to as an endothermic reaction. Summary: evaporation is a process during which a liquid becomes a gas. Higher temperatures will cause water to evaporate. Evaporation is an endothermic reaction.
Water cycle is the continuous movement of water rising from the surface of the earth to sky and back to the earth. Water cycle begins with evaporation. The sunlight heats up the water in lakes and ponds and converts it into water vapor. Water vapor rises up in the air. High up in the sky, the temperature will be less. Because of the drop in temperature, the water vapor changes back to water droplets. The process of water vapor converting into water drops is called condensation. Water vapor and dust together become clouds. Inside the clouds, the small water droplets join together and become bigger drops. The bigger drops fall down to the earth as rain due to the gravitational pull. The process of falling of water from clouds is called precipitation. Precipitation can be in the form of rain, sleet, hail, and snow. In the whole process, water from the surface of the earth evaporates and moves up, and it falls down as rain back to the earth. This movement of water in the nature is a continuous process. Summary: water cycle is the continuous movement of water rising from the surface of the earth to sky and back to the earth. Evaporation is conversion of water into water vapor. Condensation is the conversion of water vapor into water. Precipitation is the falling of water drops from clouds in the form of rain, snow, or hail.
We all know that salt is an integral part of human diet. Commercially available salt is obtained from rock salt. However, rock salt comprises several unwanted substances. So how is pure salt obtained from rock salt? Let's see. There are many methods of separation. We will obtain pure salt from rock salt through the process of filtration and evaporation. We know that small particles dissolve rapidly in water. So, first crush the rock salt with the help of a mortar and pestle. The crushed rock salt will easily and quickly dissolve in water. Our next step is to add the crushed rock salt to a beaker of warm water. After adding the rock salt, stir the mixture continuously to ensure that the rock salt dissolves completely in water. Look! Even though we have been stirring the mixture continuously, the rock salt has not completely dissolved in water. Actually, what you see is not the salt, but the impurities which remain suspended in the solution. Now, we have to separate the impurities from the solution. So, we'll filter the solution. When we pass the solution through a filter paper, the dirt gets trapped in the filter paper. The solution that drips through the filter paper into the beaker below is clear salty water. The next step to obtain pure salt from the solution is to separate the water from it. So, we'll now transfer the solution to an evaporating dish and heat it. The heat evaporates the water in the solution. Pure salt crystals are left behind in the evaporating dish. We must be cautious when evaporating the water from the solution. The Bunsen burner should be switched off before all the water evaporates, or else the dish might crack. Since the Bunsen burner is switched off before all the water evaporates from the evaporating dish, we will have to carry out the process of filtration once again. Let's pass the pure salt crystals through a filter paper to drain the small quantity of water that is left behind. The salt crystals that are left behind in the filter paper are pure. So, we have successfully obtained pure salt from rock salt.